Smith, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, David Reagan fastest in practice. They will go at the end of the session. Here's a look at the points, and that plus number is the gap back to 11. 118 points for the leaders. They have not yet clinched a spot in the chase, but they grow ever closer. Even Tony Stewart in 10th has himself a 25-point cushion on 11th. Now for the wild card, Brad Keselowski with 2 wins. Is he in? Well, Denny Hamlin gets 2 wins, another win, and Paul Menard gets another win, gains some points. Maybe not. So the one thing that's certain about this wild card battle, nothing is certain.
Well, you look at Greg Biffle there, Phil, 49 points out, 4 races to go. That's more than a full race out of 10th, plus no wins in these first 22 races.
Yeah, you got to believe that you're not going to get in out of the top 10, obviously, with a win. So it's really, really important. I think Denny Hamlin probably right now is saying, I need another win as well.
At the other end of the grid, 11 drivers are here trying to earn one of the 8 spots available in the field. Here's Wendy.
Well, if you guys missed truck practice, we're going to check in with Todd Bodine, not only running the truck race, but also here on the Cup grid for qualifying. Explain to us about your weekend. You've been busy.
Yeah, a little bit. I filled in for Michael McDowell at Pocono because he was racing the 18 Gibbs car at Iowa. And he's in Montreal this weekend, so I get to have a little more fun and fill in for him again. It's pretty neat. I haven't had the opportunity to get into a good Cup car, and this thing, Gene Need's got this thing, drives great. And, you know, it's just a lot of fun, and it's more laps, and, you know, that's what we do.
Well, good to see you here on the Cup grid again this weekend. Todd Bodine, little double duty here at Michigan.
And he is one of those 11 drivers, Wendy, who is trying to time his way into the show. A stop sign moving from the side of a vehicle. It must have been a school bus at one time, but what is it now? We have some interesting contraptions here.
The biggest pre-race show in NASCAR marches into Michigan. NASCAR Race Day. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin join us live. Marco Zambros explains why his first Sprint Cup victory was so meaningful and if he can ride the momentum to a chase berth. Plus, we'll look back at the controversy and carnage from the Glen. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Michigan, Sunday at 10 Eastern. And join the celebration at 8 Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, only on Speed.
You ready for this? I just signed the whole family up for unlimited mobile-to-mobile minutes.
You're kidding.
No.
Where's that money coming from, Steve? Did it even cross your mind to ask your wife before signing us up for something so expensive? My mother was right. I should have married John Clark.
They were free. I got them when I signed us up for unlimited messaging.
When you buy AT&T's unlimited messaging plan, families can call any U.S. mobile phone for free. AT&T.
I've worked construction most of my life. Miss out on my family, my kids growing up, missing out on their games. Going back to school and getting my education has definitely made me a type of role model. My kids see how important school is. The investment in my education has definitely been worth it. I don't miss out on my family, going to the movies with them now, you know, going to all their practices and games. Now I feel like a provider for my family, and you know, I'm proud of what I do.
The School of Drafting and Design at ITT Tech can help graduates begin careers in a variety of entry-level positions in various fields involving drafting and design. Develop skills that you can use to prepare for a career in this field. ITT Technical Institute's School of Drafting and Design. Education for the future. Call 1-800-488-3652 or visit us on the web.
Welcome back to Michigan. Our view is just about the same as the camera. 9 stories high on the new control tower here at Michigan. I've not been here since when you had to walk 160 steps up the steps to get to the broadcast booth. But here we are, high atop the place.
And you counted them.
Oh, yeah. Well, you had nothing else to do and a long time to do it in. And you know, from here, the Irish Hills, looking out from our vantage point, look a lot like Kansas. Yeah. It's pretty flat.
Beautiful area, too.
But it is beautiful.
They continue to make improvements to Michigan International Speedway. If you notice, since we were here in June, a brand new surface on pit road. And the reason they did this is because as soon as the checkered flag falls on Sunday, this 2-mile racetrack is going to get a complete facelift. It's going to be repaved, and we'll have that brand new surface when we come back here in June.
And the track record is 194 miles an hour. What kind of speeds will we see on brand new pavement next year?
I'm not so sure. We won't see an average cracking 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, the last year they've done a lot of work here on the suites, on the campgrounds, mainly fan amenities. The drivers will get a new surface for next year. Former ASA champ Tony Raines is in the number 37. He has 11 races here at Michigan and a best start of 15th. Now, he was slowest in practice. You know how this works, from slowest to fastest, including the go-or-go-home cars, and Raines is one of those.
Yeah, Scott Speed has been in this car the last 3 races, but he's off driving Kevin Harvick's nationwide car at Montreal this weekend.
This is a bit of a home game as far as a Sprint Cup Series racetrack for Tony. He's from LaPorte, Indiana, about a 2.5-hour drive south, the southwest of here. So he kind of considers this his home track outside of Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Tony ran a 39.642 for his fastest lap in our only practice session.
And he was locked on the back of the grid with TJ Bell and Eric Darnell. They, along with Johnny Sauter for Robbie Gordon and Mike Skinner, are the drivers most at risk of going home in this qualifying session. 39.229, 183.5 miles an hour.
Good pickup for Tony Raines. It's about 3.5 tenths of a second. Actually, 4 tenths of a second pickup over practice. That's a good pickup. And I would dare say the racetrack is not any faster now, Larry, than it was during their practice session, or would you think it might be just a tick?
I don't think the racetrack is, but Phil, you know as well as anybody, when you get in full qualifying mode here, which obviously all 46 of them will be now, you know, fresh tires, as much tape as you can run, is Tony's going to go ahead. He doesn't feel that good about that lap. He's going to go ahead and run a second one. It's a little tough to pick up here on lap 2, but you really get all the light fluids and everything. I don't think it's unusual that you're going to pick up. As we anticipated, though, he actually slows down a little bit on lap 2.
Yeah, he falls off about 16/100ths.
Yeah, Mike, what's surprising, you see a little bit of steam coming out at the base of the windshield on the right side. It's kind of amazing that they had enough opening that he was able to run that second lap.
I'd give a little love to the sponsor on the quarter panel of that car, but I can't read it. And it didn't show up on our rundown. Sorry about that. There is the go-or-go-home list in numerical order. Trevor Bayne, by a wide margin, was the fastest of that group. So Raines 39.229. The first lap will be the lap of record. TJ Bell scheduled to go next. They're having seatbelt issues with TJ's car, getting him buckled in. So Eric Darnell is next out.
Eric ran a 39.484 in practice. That's about 2.5 tenths of a second slower than what Tony ran just now.
It looks like they've decided to put Eric in this car full time for the rest of the season. Did not run the road course race. Eric's won a couple races here. He won a truck race back here in 2008 and the ARCA race in 2007.
Yeah, Eric Darnell, one of the closest finishes we ever had in the Truck Series, beat Johnny Benson by 5/1000ths of a second here, and a great finish.
I think that's a good shot of how much tape you run on the front of this car. It's pretty much tape solid. Every little strip of tape is worth straightaway speed.
All right, we got a second chance at it because this car has the same sponsor as Tony Raines, Engines Parts Plus. EnginePartsPlus.com, maybe.
39.547 for Eric. That's about 3 tenths slower than what Tony ran in his lap. That's a little bit slower than what Eric ran in qualifying. So I'd say right now, more than likely that that's going to be questionable, Larry, I think.
Yeah, honestly, until you have beat 3 drivers on your first lap, I would not be comfortable right now with anything slower than outside the 38-second bracket. If you run into 38, you're probably okay.
Second lap for Eric Darnell is slower by 0.1400ths. So 39.547 for the Engine Parts Plus Ford.
There's that steam out of that 46 car. I think most of the teams will have enough tape, as we look like at Eric's truck or car. Looks like it has tape solid, and you typically cannot run a second lap here without the water temperature skyrocketing.
But you know, Phil, if the first lap isn't that good, that second lap might be the only one you get to run all weekend.
Absolutely.
So you got to go.
You got to forsake the engine and say, okay, we're going to go for it anyway.
So here's TJ Bell in the green smoke, number 46. 3 Cup Series races here with the best finish of 18th 2 years ago. He's trying to make his first Cup start at Michigan. He's made 4 so far this year.
I think TJ's done a nice job jumping in the Cup Series here, first time ever. He's made some very difficult races to make and against some really stiff competition.
I mean, I give he and Andy Lally a lot of credit as road racers who have made the transition to oval racing. The science of road racing is so different when you do it in cars designed for that purpose, which these cars are not, that a lot of drivers have a tough time with the transition.
Sounded like TJ had to pedal it off the throttle, off that corner a little bit. That's going to hurt him. You see him right now tracking 3rd of the 3 cars that have been on the racetrack.
Well, let's see if he can get an early birthday present. His comes up next Thursday by getting this car into the show.
Yeah, right now he looks like he's going to be in the 39.60s, and that will be the slowest of our 3 drivers. So we would anticipate he's going to have to go or possibly go home.
39.72, Larry. So TJ has got to go.
Yeah, I think he had problems getting off 2. I heard him back off the throttle off the 2, and these long straightaways here, and speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour at the far end. Any kind of braking momentum is really going to hurt.
Well, he stayed in at that time, even though the car got a little loose on full throttle. He stayed right with it. And this lap has a chance to be better.
Yeah, you can see TJ at the end of the back straightaway, 198 miles per hour. We'll see well over 200 when the big guns really roll out there and get their qualifying in.
Second lap, though, is slower by 23 100ths, 39.95. So TJ Bell most at risk of heading home. Up next, Kenny Schrader, who is locked into the race. Then Johnny Sauter and Angie's bus driver.
On an all-new episode of The Car Show, Dave Mira schools Matt on rally racing in Seattle, and I stopped by the New York Auto Show.
Why are we standing in front of a boat at a car show?
Wednesday, only on Speed.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been fueling victories on and off the track, which is why each year we bring you the Free Fuel 5000, giving away thousands of gift cards and giving one lucky driver 5,000 gallons of free fuel. Just get a Sunoco decal, get spotted with it, and you win. Why are we giving away so much?
Because winning is the greatest feeling in the world.
You okay? I'm not looking forward to my flight. Try this. Bear aspirin. I'm not having a heart attack. It's my back. No, this is new Bear Advanced Aspirin. Clinically proven to relieve tough pain twice as fast as before. Would you invent this or something? Well, my team did. I'm Dr. Eric First from Bayer. Wow. Look, it has microparticles. It enters the bloodstream faster and rushes relief right to the site of pain. Better? Great. Thanks.
New Bayer Advanced Aspirin. Extra strength pain relief, twice as fast. Test our fast relief. Love it, or get your money back.
And remember, as Aaron's spokesperson, you are the face of Aaron's, the leader in sales and lease ownership. The store is where everyone is pre-approved.
Got it, Ken. What? I thought I was Aaron's spokesperson.
Yeah, right.
Watch and learn, Rudy.
That's my girl.
Action. And remember, when you want a guaranteed low price on name brand furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers,
you don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's. Don't worry, Daddy. One day you'll be the Aaron's spokesperson.
How following your passion always puts you right where you're supposed to be. NASCAR home tracks, where what happens on the track is just part of the story.
Tonight, the Irish Hills will be rocking and rolling when Regan Smith and Marcus Ambrose, two of this year's first-time Cup winners, stop by the biggest party in racing. It's NASCAR Trackside at Michigan tonight, 7 Eastern, only on Speed. Kenny Schrader has run 45 Sprint Cup Series races. at Michigan International Speedway. 2 poles, 3 sixth-place finishes, and he comes here today in this unwind Ford, and he's in the show.
Yeah, he's locked in. That's a chillaxation drink now, which is a new category. You're supposed to drink it and chill out a little bit. Kind of the opposite of a Red Bull or an energy drink.
When would we ever have time for that?
Certainly not at the racetrack.
No, perhaps not.
Frank Stoddard and this group, they've done a nice job with this race car. Showed up at Daytona for the Daytona 500, and you know, we're not locked in, and they just kept digging, kept working, and got themselves up in the top 35, and they've been there for a while. Pretty decent first lap, and you can tell the old veteran knows you're not going to pick up on lap 2 at Michigan. He'll be one and done.
39.29 for Schrader, and he is second fastest to Tony Raines right now in that U.S. Chrome car. And I know, you know, we all know Schrader. I don't know if chillaxation is part of his vocabulary.
I wouldn't think so. He probably never heard of that.
But he will now.
He will now.
Okay. Back to the Go Homers and Johnny Sauter, who is subbing for Robbie Gordon. Robbie's in Montreal. He will be here to race on Sunday, provided Sauter can get it into the field. Johnny's fast here, first in truck practice, 5th fastest in second truck practice. And Robbie Gordon was second fastest in final practice at Montreal. 19 points out of the top 35 and a guaranteed spot. So it's really vital for Sauter to get this car in the show so Robbie Gordon can challenge for a top 35 position going forward.
Yeah, Robbie really was putting a lot of stock in that road race last week at Watkins Glen, that he could come out of there with a top 5 or top 10, maybe put him back in the top 35, and just had several issues throughout the day. Ended up finishing 24th, and that was not good enough to get him back inside there to be locked in.
Now it looks as if Sauter is going to lock Tony Raines into the show. Raines the quickest of the Go Homers so far.
Johnny had a good 3 and 4. He gained about a 1/10 of a second to Tony Raines.
He did. 39.38. Sauter is 3rd fastest, second of the Go Homers, and unless he can pick up 2/10, he's going to lock Tony Raines into the race.
That 39.38 we've been talking about picking up from practice to qualifying, that's actually almost a 10th off from what he ran in practice earlier. You start to lose grip. The further you go, Phil talked about grip at the top of the show, and once that engine starts getting hotter than about 240 or so, water temperature wise, the power starts to go away on it.
Just noses over there.
In fact, Sauter falls off 3/10 on lap number 2, but the first lap is the good one. He is now 1 spot away from being locked in. Tony Raines is in.
But that's what's worrisome, guys, is you know, every subsequent car ran faster than you did in the practice session. So right now, Johnny Sauter, Patrick Donahue, those guys are really on the edge of their seat, knowing that every other car has been faster than them that goes out.
Sunday, Kenny Schrader will start his 46th Cup race here. Bob's with him.
And I'm sure Kenny Schrader looking forward to Sunday. Are you unwound and are you chillaxed here today?
I'm unwound, man. All I got to do is drink, come on, being unwound. But, yeah, we're just kind of visiting, but good to be back and run one of the races. Thought we'd run a little faster than that. That was the fastest lap we've run today, but got to go faster. What's that new story or something? You always got to go faster.
Exactly, and Kenny Schrader hoping to go faster tonight. He's running a late model at Dixie Motor Speedway about an hour north of here.
Well, of course. I think if you look back over the last 20 years, among the 5 drivers who had run the most individual races in a season, Schrader would be right there every year. Whoa! Big slide for Big Red. That is Mike Skinner. He's got to time his way in, and he had a huge moment down there in 1 and 2.
And you could see where it really hurt him looking at the tracker was the speed down the back straightaway.
Just lost that momentum. He came off at 2 in pretty good shape, then lost about a 1/10 of a second in the length of the back straightaway.
In 99, Skinner started outside pole and led 12 laps for Richard Childress. His best finish here is 16th. .29.29 edges Johnny Sauter by almost a 1/10. And after that big bobble in turn 1 and 2 to come back and post a lap to get in the show. That's work.
Let's take a look at this now. That thing is out of shape and has to catch it. And then it goes again. That frequently happens. When you lose it one time, get it back, then it goes again. But Mike was on top of it. Watch this coming off of 4, Larry.
Yeah, he could see that white flag waving, but he knew he had to stay in the throttle, and it was good enough to get him in the show.
You got to love it. Great performance by Mike Skinner. He will race here on Sunday. David Gilliland, Joe Nemechek next.
Speed presents the greatest collector car event in the world. September 22nd. See the finest, rarest, and most incredible cars on the planet. All in one place, all up for grabs. Watch the auction live and build your dream collection. Barrett Jackson, Las Vegas. Presented by Bridgestone. Live September 22nd at 4 Eastern on Speed.
Daycare can be expensive. So to save some money, I found one that uses robots instead of real people. Because robots work for free.
Good morning, female child.
Floss? Maybe.
There's an easier way to save. Get online, go to geico.com, get a quote. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Alert! The diabetes drug Actos has been linked to an increased risk of bladder cancer. These are symptoms of bladder cancer. The active ingredient in Actos is also found in these other drugs. If you've been diagnosed with bladder cancer after taking any of these drugs, you may be entitled to monetary compensation. There are no fees or costs until your case is settled or won. Call Goldberg and Osborne now. 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Hi, I'm Abby Wambach, and I used my head a lot to score in this year's World Cup. I'm here to tell you how you can score the hottest money-saving device since the invention of the telephone. It's called the Magic Jack. I use it to call home every day for free, saving me hundreds of dollars. I love Magic Jack, and you will too.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Michigan. Must be sunspots. We lost our transmission for about 10 seconds, so not sure what you didn't hear. Tony Raines and Mike Skinner are locked into the show. Ken Schrader splits them, second fastest so far. On the hot seat, Johnny Sauter, Eric Darnell, and TJ Bell. And here comes David Gilliland, coming off a 33rd place finish at Watkins Glen. And a best finish here of 17th, best start here of 20th.
Comes the first driver to crack the 38-second bracket, 38.93, so David goes all the way to the top of the pylon now.
Mike, it may be sunspots because we don't have a cloud in the sky, so it would have to be sunspots.
Would have to be. Or somebody's chillaxing somewhere.
Well, Kenny said he was unwound down there.
That's right.
Kenny Schrader.
There you go. So David Gilliland is fastest, and Joe Nemechek is up next. Nemechek has 35 starts here, including a pole and a 6th place finish. He's led a total of 32 laps here. And Joe and his unsponsored Toyota have qualified for every race this year.
Really have done a nice job, and also running the Nationwide Series essentially full-time.
Yeah, and
had some good finishes over there.
He really has. I think he's fairly high in the points.
Time to beat is 39.38. That's Johnny Sauter, 5th fastest. And if he stays to the left of position 5, Nemechek is in the show for Sunday.
Looking good right now so far. Quickest car as he exits turn number 2.
He picked that throttle up quick, and you could see the car stuck. It didn't look like the tail was trying to jump out on it. Let's see. How about just clicking 203 miles per hour at the end of the backstretch?
You said we were going to see speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour, and there we have it right there.
It's going to be a great lap for Joe Nemechek. It looks like he's it's going to be flirting right there with David Gilliland's time.
Fastest so far, Joe Nemechek. Front row Joe at 38.86 is the fastest driver so far. Bob?
Well, Mike Skinner is down here. He's catching his breath. And how much of a handful was that?
I think that was a triple handful there, but I wasn't going to let off the throttle. I was like,
we might hit the wall, but we're not going to go home because the driver let off. But we made an adjustment right there at the end of practice, and it kind of took the car out of the racetrack, and it was awfully loose in the gas. And but you know, the big red Toyota is in the race, and that's what we came here to do.
All right, I tell you what, he knows how to put the pedal to the metal. Wendy?
Thanks, Bob. I'm with Regan Smith out here on the qualifying grid. What do you expect to get out of your race car?
Well, hopefully a lot more than we got in practice. The Farm American Chevy was not quite as good on our mock-up run in practice as we wanted, but I think we made some good changes, and hopefully, you know, I think the sun's not going to be too much of a deal because it's going to be the same for everybody, so going early is not going to be as bad as it normally could be. We'll have to see.
All right, well, good luck to Regan, and of course there was a lot of talk in practice about which line was going to be best coming into this weekend.
We'll see. We'll see Regan on trackside tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, along with Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah, Chris Devotis hosted it, and I know they're going to talk to Regan about the very unique way that he engaged to his future bride, Miss Megan.
Oh, yes, good story. Here's Todd Bodine driving for Michael McDowell in the number 66. 2 Cup starts this year for Todd. Now, this is a car that has made every race, every non-restrictor plate race this season. So why Todd Bodine?
Todd's a great race car driver and does a nice job here. Finished second last year in the truck race, but has had some success in Cup cars and has a lot of experience in them, and he gets it in the show.
Good choice. Good choice, Phil. Third overall, second among the Go-Go homers, 38.95 for Todd Bodine, and that leaves Sauter, Darnell, and Bell on the hot seat.
And that's the luxury that these drivers have now that we went deep enough into the Go-Go homers. You know, the minute you cross the start-finish line for the white flag, whether you're in, you better give me another lap.
Still 4 Go-Go homers to go. Joe Nemechek is the fastest of the group and fastest overall. Andy Lally next.
A fierce championship battle continues.
This is for the lead in GT.
Oh,
so close.
With 2 to go, it's now or never.
This is awesome.
The Rolex Sports Car Series from Montreal, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. The biggest pre-race show in NASCAR marches into Michigan. NASCAR Race Day. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin join us live. Marcos Ambrose explains why his first Sprint Cup victory was so meaningful and if he can ride the momentum to a chase berth. Plus, we'll look back at the controversy and carnage from the Glen. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Michigan, Sunday at 10 Eastern. And join the celebration at 8 Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco. Only on Speed.
Emily's just starting out and on a budget, like a ramen noodle every night budget. She thought Allstate car insurance was out of her reach until she heard about the value plan. And saving money with Allstate doesn't stop there. Kim and James are what you might call overly protective, especially behind the wheel. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, Allstate gives them a bonus twice a year for being safe drivers. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
Bring news of a new tea that fits like no other.
Wear them well.
We ride!
Tomorrow, the Rolex Sports Car Series travels to the French-Canadian city of Montreal to tackle the Wall of Champions at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Don't miss it. Rolex Sports Cars from Montreal. You'll see it tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on Speed. One driver who might be more at home there, but is becoming very at home here, is Andy Lally from Northport, New York, the interstate moving Ford Fusion. Three-time Grand Am GT champion.
I think he's done a nice job because he had no experience. We talk about T.J. Bell and his road racing background, but he ran a lot of truck races over the past several years. Andy Lally was just throwing in the fire here in a Cup car. Now I think he's done a nice job.
I mean, the deep end of the pool.
Yep. TRG, Kevin Buckler, is a road racing operation. Pulled Andy Lally here to Cup, and he has responded well. Second fastest for Lally, 38.88, and of course being 33rd in owner points, locked into the show. Bob?
Just talking a little football down here with the guy that is currently first in qualifying, Joe Nemechek, and you're a busy guy today because not only are you qualifying here, you got to get traveling.
Yeah, we're trying to get up to Montreal to run that race tomorrow, and just travel logistics are pretty tough. There's only one airplane right now that I know of going from Michigan to Montreal, so I've got to make other arrangements. But going up there, going to run our nationwide car with DAB and AM/FM Energy on board. And my lap here today was just a really good, smooth lap. You're talking about you hold it wide open. You can't do that here anymore.
Actually, you own your own car.
Yeah, everybody, listen, I own my own car, but I used a lot of brakes too. But no, it's a good weekend here in Michigan. I know I'm getting ready to do the repave here, but fun racetrack. My car's been driving great since we unloaded, and I can't thank my guys enough. And again, AMFMenergy.com. Check it out for all your heating needs.
Get going.
Joe has finished in the top 12 in 4 of his last 5 nationwide starts. Dave Blaney in the Axel Construction, number 36. For Tommy Baldwin, he's run every race this year except Watkins Glen. Best finish this year, 13th at Richmond. And Blaney is quickest with a 38.81. He pips Joe Nemechek by 5/100ths.
Yeah, I think we'll start to see the top of this pylon change pretty rapidly here over the next number of drivers.
I think we'll probably see speeds maybe in the 37s, you think? The high 37s?
Oh, I think so, because actually the fast time was a 38.13. I'd say there's no question it'll be in the high 37s. Now, the track record we were talking about, Ryan Newman, that is a 37.06, but that has been in place since June of 2005.
J.J. Yaley in the 55, the former sprint car and midget star. Has been in and out of the Cup Series for quite a while now. See if he can get the 55 in the show. He's got to beat Johnny Sauter's 39.38 to do it. Yaley does have 1 Sprint Cup pole to his career, and it came right here in June of 07, driving for Joe Gibbs.
He drove that 18 car, and actually that same year he finished 2nd in the Coke 600 at Charlotte. It's on a pretty good run here halfway down the back straightaway. 205 miles an hour off into turn 3.
He's tracking first right now at about 1.5 quicker than Dave Blaney. See if he can get off turn number 4. A little bit of a wiggle, but still maintains that speed.
That little slide there, but still should be quick enough to knock Blaney off the pole, and he does it by 1/10.5. 38.65 for JJ.
That's a great lap for this 55 team. Truly is.
A couple tenths of a second quicker than they ran in practice.
There you go. I was beginning to wonder.
Yeah, you were holding your breath, Larry.
I was grabbing for a radio.
All right, Bobby Labonte next. Here's Wendy.
And Carl Edwards was just watching JJ make that lap into turn 1. You said, man, that looks fast. So does it feel that fast to you?
I haven't gone that fast yet. He's faster than I've been. So we're hoping to get this Aflac Fusion going at least that fast. But yeah, it looks screaming fast when they go by here. I mean, that's fast. So, it's amazing how much speed you can build around this racetrack. It's 2 miles. It feels like there's a ton of grip. And I'm just hoping that we can get a good lap in. Practice was terrible for us, but we leaned on Matt Kenseth. So, he was so good. We got his setup, and he gave me some tips. So hopefully I can apply it and use it and be good.
All right, well, good luck to Carl Edwards. No doubt these drivers never get immune to how fast these cars are running.
Yeah, but here's the tough side to that story, Wendy, is that Kenseth was fastest, Biffle 3rd, Reagan 5th, and Carl in practice was 26th.
Yeah, a little bit odd.
He got some work to do. He turned 32 this past Monday, finishing 12th at Watkins Glen. Here's the Kingsford charcoal Camry. Bobby Labonte, 4 poles at Michigan and 3 victories, all coming when he drove for Joe Gibbs.
Went through a stretch and finished in the top 10 12 out of 13 times back from 94, 95 to 2000.
And this should take Yaley off the pole, and it does by another 10th. 38.56 for Bobby Labonte. And bumping will begin with the next driver, who will be Travis Kvapil. Jimmy Johnson gets set to climb aboard. His run is not that far away.
Veterans tangled on the tricky triangle as Kevin Harvick powered his way to a Pocono win. Saturday, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to Michigan. Bragging rights are always on the line in the Motor City.
Contact right there. Problems on the racetrack.
And the pressure to win here makes for one wild ride. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Michigan. Saturday at noon Eastern, only on Speed.
We've got all you need for back to school with low prices every day on everything. Backed by our Ad Match Guarantee. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
Are you tired of check cashing fees? Bounce checks and overdraft fees driving you crazy? Introducing the Account Now prepaid Visa card. Account Now provides the perfect alternative to a checking account without the hassles and hidden overdraft or bounce check fees.
Before I found Account Now, payday was a major hassle.
With Account Now, I don't have to worry about overdraft fees.
With 100% approval and no credit check, call Account Now today.
Call 1-800-835-7058.
What makes us #1 in motorcycle insurance? We love bikes. We love riders. And most of all, we love to ride.
Perfect hair every time.
Leading the pack in motorcycle insurance. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Welcome back to Michigan. Travis Kvapil on the track in the Long John Silver's for 2003 truck champ. Has a 19th place start here in 2008, driving for Robert Yates. To his credit, TJ Bell is on the hot seat at 39.72. He has to beat that to bump Bell, and he has to beat Johnny Sauter's 39.38 to lock into the race Sunday.
Yeah, Travis ran a 38.72 in practice, so he would think he should be pretty good, but he's only tracking 8th right now as he enters turn number 1. Now that really comes on down, moves up to 3rd actually in the center of 1 and 2.
You mentioned Travis winning that truck championship. He actually has 2 wins here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. In fact, he got Toyota their very first win ever in NASCAR in the truck race here back in 2004.
Which was their first year in the series in 2004.
Top 10, and he races Sunday. Here comes Kvapil.
He's going to race. It's just a question, is he going to be on the top of the charts after this run? And he will.
Yes. 38.53. 3 100s quicker than Bobby Labonte, and that will send TJ Bell to the house. That leaves Johnny Sauter and Eric Darnell on the hot seat, with David Stremme and Trevor Bayne yet to go among the go-or-go homers. So nice run for Travis.
It was. Remember, these Fords now all have the FR9 engines. Even these front row motorsports cars do. Made such a huge difference. That was such a big gain when Ford came with that FR9. Actually have an FR9 engine in the truck race probably for the first time with Colin Brown. Going to run an FR9 for Billy Ballou.
Back in the truck series.
Back in the truck series.
All right, Casey Mears on track in the Geico Toyota. He started outside pole here back in 2005. Here's Wendy.
And Jimmy Johnson literally just stepping into his office. Jimmy, what kind of line do you want to run with your race car in qualifying?
I want to
run the fastest line. I'm not sure where that is. I've been trying some new things this time back based on what took place earlier in the year. So we'll have to see. I mean, I thought I was going a lot faster in practice than what I was. The stopwatch and I just weren't getting along and weren't agreeing on things. So hopefully I'm happy and the stopwatch is happy after this run.
Well, good luck to Jimmy Johnson. We have all kinds of humor from our drivers, Mike. Jimmy Johnson telling us he doesn't agree with the stopwatch, and Ryan Newman telling us he thinks that throttle hung on Matt Kenseth's car.
Yeah, when Matt set the fastest lap of the day in practice, that was Newman's assessment. Johnson has the same problem as Carl Edwards. His 3 teammates were a lot quicker as Casey Mears goes to the top of the board with a 38.35 in the Geico Toyota.
That jumps it up a couple tenths of a second faster than Travis Kvapil. So speeds are coming up now.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that Joe Nemechek in the 87 car was on the pole. We have now bettered his time by half of a second. This is another team, Casey Mears, Booty Barker. They've done a nice job. You know, they have the sponsorship from Geico, but it's limited sponsorship. But they have made every show this year, with the exception they did miss the Daytona 500, the first race of the year.
2 go-or-go homers left, David Stremme and Trevor Bayne. Here is Stremme, who's made 8 starts of 2011 for Inception Motorsports, the best of those being the team's first race. That was at Richmond, where he started 16th. A startup team running all but the restrictor plate and road course races, planning a full schedule in 2012. He has to beat Johnny Sauter's 39.38 to lock in, and has to beat Eric Darnell's 39.54 to have a chance to race Sunday.
Car looks awfully good. 205 miles an hour plus off into turn 1. He picked that throttle up, the car stuck.
Remember, right now the time he has to beat to lock himself in is Johnny Sauter's at a 39.34, and Johnny's 13th. You see where he's tracking. He's right now 5th, 6th. If he stays there, he's in.
Anything in the top dozen races on Sunday. A good qualifier, underrated racer perhaps. David Stremme is in, 6th fastest, 38.85, and Eric Darnell will not qualify for the Pure Michigan 400.
See a lot of steam coming out of that 30 car. They had her taped up, but they got her in the show.
Casey Mears fastest so far. Coming up, Landon Castle, Regan Smith, Carl Edwards.
On an all-new episode of The Car Show, Dave Mirra schools Matt Farah on rally racing in Seattle. Sally tries to find the best small car for a 7-footer. And I stopped by the New York Auto Show.
Well, looky here, we've ran into our first celebrity, Stephen Colbert. Why are we standing in front of a boat at a car show?
For guys who appreciate a good lube job. Wednesday, only on Speed.
If you're looking for a pickup truck, check out the miles per gallon, the length of the powertrain warranty, and the horsepower. Only Ram delivers this kind of muscle. That'll thin out the herd real quick.
Get no payments for 90 days plus 0% APR or $5,500 in total values on select Ram 1500s.
Ram.
Is your computer running slowly? Does it take more than 3 seconds for your email to load? Are you frustrated with error messages, blue screens, computer freezes, and crashes? These are not only annoying, but can cause permanent damage to your computer. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, your computer and your privacy may be at risk, because these are usually the telltale signs of a virus, and it can only get worse until you act. Get a free diagnosis at mycleanpc.com.
My Clean PC is outstanding, and my computer is running faster than ever.
My Clean PC came through with flying colors when no one else could.
My Clean PC totally cleaned up my system and increased my speed.
MyCleanPC.com can remove spyware, viruses, and infected emails, all speeding up your PC's performance. It offers all-in-one protection, and it's been downloaded by millions of users. Even if you have antivirus software, your computer could still be infected. Find out instantly with a free comprehensive diagnosis at mycleanpc.com.
Sprint brings an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Casey Mears is the fastest qualifier thus far at 187.7 miles an hour. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Regan Smith on track. 38.63 for Regan, 186.3 miles an hour. Fourth fastest. While the Farm American, number 78. And while we were away, Landon Castle in the James Finch 51 laid down a lap that is now sixth fastest at 38.78. So here are your top half dozen. Scroll across the screen, headed by Casey Mears. Bob is with him.
So what do you think after that lap, Mr. Mears?
You know, honestly, with feeling like maybe it was a little bit warmer and stuff, I was going to be pretty happy if we went out and ran like a 40 or a 50. So to run a 30 was pretty good for us. We were struggling being really loose in the start of practice, and they did a good job tightening it up. And it felt pretty good. I mean, I was able to get to the gas hard. It was loose all the way off, but I was able to stay in it. And, you know, I'm sure it's going to get quite a bit faster, but it was a good start so far for the Geico Toyota.
Loose is fast, Wendy.
It sure is, and Clint Boyer has the fan view, hoping to go fast with qualifying. So are you actually watching? Are you watching the line? Well, Carl Edwards is on there right now. What have you learned in watching the fan view in this session?
I'll tell you in just a minute when I see how fast he hit, how much I learned. But, you know, those race cars have been pretty fast today. Just trying to watch their lines, you know. Everybody kind of runs the same line in qualifying. Some people move up just a little bit more. Some guys run a little bit lower, but kind of preferred line here in qualifying is right there in that middle groove right above that first seam. So, you know, just seeing where I need to run lap time-wise, where they're out on the racetrack, and hopefully getting his Cheerios Hamburger Helper Chevrolet up front. Really, really excited about where it was in race trim. I think we'll have something for him on Sunday. We just got to make sure we have something for him today.
All right, when I talked to Carl, he said either straddling the seam or a little bit above it. So does that work? Let's see what his lap is. Mike?
Second quickest, 38.36 for Carl, who made his Sprint Cup debut here in this race. In 2004, he has one fourth-place start and 2 wins here.
When he drove off into turn 3, he was a tenth and a half quicker than Casey Mears, and the car just continued to lose grip through 3 and 4. Now, this was off of 2. Now, this, Phil and I were watching this, it really didn't hurt him that bad. He was still maintaining all the way down the back straightaway. When he got to 3 and 4 and picked the throttle up, you could see that tracker just losing ground about as quick as we could keep up with it.
Yeah, he came off of turn 4 ahead of Casey Mears, and then continually lost a hundredth of a second at a time until he ends up getting beat by a hundredth of a second.
Kevin Harvick in the Jimmy John's Chevrolet, number 29 for Richard Childress Racing. One front row start and one victory here. First non-restrictor plate win for Harvick since Phoenix in 06. So that came in this race a year ago.
Kevin's going to be doing double duty this weekend. We'll also run the Camping World Truck Series race tomorrow, and you know he's going to be running up front. Dominated 2 weeks ago at Pocono in our last truck race with a win.
They really got to get something going with this 29 car. We know he's going to be in the chase. He's fourth in the points. He has those 3 wins, but he has not had a top 5 finish since Pocono back in June, where he finished 5th. It's going to be a pretty good qualifying lap, at least based on Kevin Harvick, what we see a lot of times. He's going to be in the top 5 for now.
Third for Harvick. 38.41. That's only 6/100ths off pole. Currently, that's Casey Mears.
You know, Casey Mears really overachieved, because if you beat anybody that goes after you, they were faster than you in practice, and he's beat the next 5 cars that were all faster than him in practice.
Wow. Jimmy Johnson next, then Martin Truex and Jeff Burton.
A fierce championship battle continues.
This is for the lead in GT. Oh, so close.
With 2 to go, it's now or never.
This is awesome.
The Rolex Sports Car Series from Montreal, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. The biggest pre-race show in NASCAR marches into Michigan. NASCAR Race Day. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin join us live. Marco Zambros explains why his first Sprint Cup victory was so meaningful, and if he can ride the momentum to a chase berth. Plus, we'll look back at the controversy and carnage from the Glen. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, live from Michigan, Sunday at 10 Eastern. And join the celebration at 8 Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, only on Speed.
Where'd you get that idea? How'd you learn to do that? What'd you use? Every project we finish comes with a story built in. It's how our rough ideas become, you did that yourself? So when we can save more on the projects that let us fix, make, and do more, well, that just makes the stories even better. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Add some style to your sink with this Moen Banbury faucet for the new lower price of $79.
Okay, you know you're gonna need new tires. It's inevitable, right? So why not get them from TireRack.com? With Tire Rack's online research tools, you'll know you're getting exactly the right tires for you, your car, and the way you drive it, all at a great price. Don't just change your tires, change the way you buy tires. The biggest selection of tires. One more way Tire Rack is revolutionizing the way you buy tires. TireRack.com. Research, buy, deliver, install.
Here's to the pursuit of better, faster, cleaner, funner. Here's to the pursuit of another 100 years of earning America's trust. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Golden Corral's new pan-seared seafood cooking station is now open. Chefs are standing by. It's delicious shrimp made to order. It's tilapia seared to perfection right before your eyes. It's all part of our endless dinner buffet, still for around $10, only at Golden Corral.
Wednesday, August 31st on Speed. My Ride Rules returns. All new episode as 4 car fanatics face off in a wild car competition. It's an all new episode Wednesday the 31st, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Jimmy Johnson in the Lowe's Chevrolet.
We had a little disagreement with his stopwatch during practice.
Slowest of the 4 Hendrick cars.
This is one of the 5 racetracks that we currently race on that Jimmy hasn't won in his career.
Now, his best was a 3rd in this race 4 years ago.
Jimmy making his 350th career start. We're coming up on the anniversary of his last pole. He has not sat on a pole since Dover last September.
Just like Carl Edwards went in turn 3 about a 1/10 and a half faster than Casey Mears, and he comes off turn 4 and he gets to the line. He does just barely edge Casey Mears for the pole.
1/100th of a second is the difference. 38:34 is the time for Jimmy Johnson. He is fastest.
There you see those 5 racetracks Phil was talking about. Of course, we've only been to Kentucky one time with the Sprint Cup Series. A lot of seconds, a lot of thirds, but no wins here at Michigan. He's come close many times. They've had some fuel mileage issues, and they had the sway bar arm issue in the June race.
Casey Kane looking in. I'm guessing that's Brian Vickers that he's talking to.
Looks like a silver A post anyway.
Who else would he be talking to at this point in the qualifying? There's Brian, who's got a good record here at Michigan. We'll get to him in a moment. Martin Truex Jr., top 10 in both road course races this year. Had a 5th place start here in this race 2 years ago and has 2 runner-up finishes at Michigan. Let's check with Bob.
Down here with Kevin Harvick, and you're a busy guy this weekend, both on the Cup side and the truck side. How are things going so far?
Things gone okay. Our car hasn't been that fast. Our Jimmy John Chevrolet hasn't been that fast in qualifying trim. Fairly happy with it in race trim, but everything seems to be okay. I wish I felt a little bit better, but other than that, everything's fine.
All right, feel better. Wendy?
And these bright rainbow colors are on Trevor Bain's machine this weekend, who very cool paint scheme that was started by a very young fan of yours. Now, Trevor, what's with the driver's suit? Because I heard you were supposed to have bell bottoms on, my friend.
Yeah, I felt like I might have a problem passing people if I showed up out here with bell bottoms. I felt like they might try to block me a little bit more because they wouldn't be too happy about it. But this paint scheme is really awesome. I have caught some stuff off the other drivers already. But Katie did a great job with this car. It's for an awesome cause with JDRF and Motorcraft. The relationship that they've had over the last 4 years has been really cool with the contests that they do to color our car. And so Katie's here, the winner. She's 7 years old, and she did a great job with this thing. So we're really excited to get it out there, and our spotter won't be able to miss it, that's for sure.
Oh, that is true. Well, good luck to Trevor Bain in a very colorful number 21. Even the crew members have rainbow shirts on.
See, Trevor is 20. He's not old enough to remember bell bottoms or the fact that once they were cool.
He just heard about it.
Yeah. Martin Truex, the Napa Toyota, is fastest. 38.28, 188 miles an hour for Truex, as Jeff Burton, who owns 2 poles poles and one third-place finish here. Comes out in the Cat Chevrolet.
Finally got that first top 10 finish of the year last week at Watkins Glen, so things going in the right direction for that Cat team.
One of several teams that have had a crew chief change of late.
Yeah, it is hard to believe that that was their first top 10 finish, and this is the 7th year that Burton has been with Richard Childress Racing. He made his first start for RCR back in August of 2004 here.
Not going to be real happy with this lap, I don't think.
No, 10th quickest, 38.66. That lacks about 4/10 of the pole. 186.2 miles an hour for Burton. And coming up, we'll have A.J. Allmendinger, Clint Boyer, and Tony Stewart.
How did you beat me? Just how did you do that?
Tonight, speed gets the Irish Hills rocking. Tune in for some Motor City mayhem as the biggest party in racing revs up in Michigan. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside, tonight at 7 Eastern, only on Speed.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been fueling victories on and off the track, which is why each year we bring you the Free Fuel 5000, giving away thousands of gift cards and giving one lucky driver 5,000 gallons of free fuel. Just get a Sunoco decal, get spotted with it, and you win. Why are we giving away so much?
Because winning is the greatest feeling in the world.
Until the world can live in peace. Until natural disasters no longer strike. Until freedom can protect itself. Until that day, the men and women of America's Navy stand ready to answer the call. America's Navy, a global force for good.
Look alive, fools. You know it's Sunday, right?
Yeah, but we're waiting for the boss. We have this big presentation.
Shame on you for letting the man keep you down. You need to stick it to him with DirecTV. It's on. Only DirecTV gives you every game every Sunday afternoon live on your laptop, tablet, or cell phone.
Nice. Holy.
Hey.
Now NFL Sunday Ticket is included at no extra charge. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
So you think you can hang with us? Then you'll have to endure some bumper-to-bumper traffic. Deal with some tough customers getting up in your grill. And get into a few scrapes. And to those who don't expect us to go all out on every lap, we've got one word for you. Tough.
The best by Ford of A.J. Allmendinger, 8th quickest at 38.58, 186.6 miles per hour. And Clint Boyer in the Hamburger Helper Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Started in the 2nd row here last year. Got some work to do.
Had a top 10 run in June, finished 8th.
You know, Clint said this week that ever since that we were at Charlotte in May, that they have been searching and struggling at the bigger racetracks, the 1.5-mile, 2-mile racetrack, that they've lost something. Because he had some great runs, finished 2nd at Texas back in April. Something just kind of went away from him on these bigger tracks.
14th for Boyer, 38.83. With the recent signing of Carl Edwards by Jack Roush, Boyer right now is the series leading free agent. Still negotiating with Richard Childress, but perhaps also considering other opportunities. We'll see. Bob?
Martin Truex Jr. on the provisional pole, talking to the boss, Michael Waltrip, right here. But I know you had a good race car. But everybody wants to know, before we went to break, we saw old 5-time over here asking you a question. What did he ask you?
He's just getting a few pointers. No, I'm just kidding. No, he just was wondering if I thought my lap was decent, because he thought his was not, pretty decent. I think we beat him by about a 10th. So I thought it was okay. I left a little out there. Car wasn't perfect, but good lap, good pickup from practice for our Napa Toyota. And these guys are doing an awesome job for me, and I love working with them. So we'll see how long it stays up there. Hopefully it'll be a good starting spot for us.
You know, Jimmy's never won.
Neither have I.
Simply said.
There you go. Tony Stewart's going to try to take the top spot away from Truex. The Mobile One Office Depot Chevrolet has never started on the front row at Michigan, although he does have one trip to victory lane here back when he was driving for Joe Gibbs.
This is definitely one of the drivers, though, involved in this race and battle to make the chase. You know, he comes in here 10th in the points, 25 points to the good, but no wins so far after 22 races here in 2011.
Yeah, we're 2 months past the point of the season where Stewart usually starts finding his way to victory lane, and he is second quickest to Martin Truex by 2/100ths of a second.
I've got to believe that Tony doesn't think that point cushion is secure, because you can lose that in one race. That's in the old days, being 80 or 90 points ahead. You have a DNF, and that goes away.
Brian Vickers, Trevor Bayne, next.
On an all-new episode of The Car Show, Dave Mira schools Matt on rally racing in Seattle, and I stopped by the New York Auto Show.
Why are we standing in front of a boat at a car show?
Wednesday, only on Speed.
We bring news of a new tea that fits like no other.
Wear them well.
We ride!
I'm a raccoon, and this time in your attic has been the best week of my raccoon life. I'm digging, I'm nesting in this fluffy stuff. I've already had like 4 babies. I'm the smartest raccoon I know. And if you got your home insurance where you got your 15-minute car insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You could save money and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate agents.
Ask me.
Even if you think your mattress is just fine,
Ask me what it's like to get your best night's sleep every night.
why not talk to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America? It's not a Sealy or a Simmons or a Serta.
Ask me about my Tempur-Pedic.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Ask me about staying asleep.
These are actual Tempur-Pedic owners. Ask someone you know. Check out Twitter. Try your friends on Facebook. You'll hear it all, unedited.
Ask me how it feels after 10 years.
Ask me if it's a good value. Just ask me.
There are over 4 million Tempur-Pedic owners, and they're more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand.
Ask me why I feel better every morning.
Ask me why someone who's never had an ache or a pain is in love with this bed.
Start asking real owners.
Ask me how we took the first step.
Take the first step. Call today for your free information kit with DVD. 1-800-891-9043 or visit Tempur-Pedic.com.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Brian Vickers riding a 6-race string of top 10 finishes here. That is the best in the sport. It includes a victory. Now, of course, Brian sat out the 2010 season. So that is string runs from August 07 through 08, 09, and the June race here. A win, a 4th, a 7th, an 8th, a 9th, and a 10th.
You were talking about Clint Boyer earlier, and this is something that we've not heard a lot about as Brian uses all the racetrack up coming off turn 4, is the status of Red Bull Racing for 2012. And even before they made that announcement that they may not be back next year, Brian Vickers, about a month prior to that, has said, I'm not saying I'm a free agent, but I'm looking at my options. We've not heard a lot about that lately.
Because we knew Casey King was short-term. We knew he was there 1 year before he goes over to Hendrick Motorsports. So Brian Vickers right now could be another free agent along with Clint Boyer.
Vickers is 7th at a 38.51. And we apologize for the sunspots or the chillaxation somewhere along the line that has cost us our graphics package at this point in time. We hope to get that back for you. In the meantime, enjoy Trevor Bayne and the multi-hued array on screen. That is the paint scheme of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, driving our way to a cure. 7-year-old girl designed this paint scheme. Trevor thinks it's terrific. The bell bottoms, maybe not so much.
Well, we know that Johnny Sauter and Robbie Gordon will be watching this qualifying lap here intently, because Johnny Sauter on the bubble right now on that 7 car Robbie Gordon, running the Nationwide Series race in Montreal, wants to come here and race on Sunday, but right now that tracker is showing that he'll not have to make the trip.
Yeah, if Trevor can get through 3 and 4 here virtually unscathed, then he will be in the show comfortably, maybe with a top 5 run so far.
39.38 time to beat. That's Johnny Sauter back at 25th. Trevor Bayne is going to race on Sunday in the Wood Brothers Ford. The last time the Wood Brothers went to Victory Lane at Michigan, it was their 11th win here. Was scored by Dale Jarrett. Trevor was 6 months old.
And Dale, that was Dale's first career win.
That's right.
Oh,
August
I very
91.
well remember.
we had to talk about it, didn't we, Larry?
All right, quickly to recap. Truex is fastest, Stewart second, Johnson third. This young man, Trevor Bayne, is fourth, and Casey Mears, a surprising fifth. Here's Bob.
And Tony Stewart down here on pit road just took a chug of his Coca-Cola. How was that lap? How is that race car this weekend?
It's the best we've been here in a while, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. Darian and all the guys on this mobile one off Steepo Chevy have done an awesome job. We struggled with balance here last time, but really happy the way this thing's been all day. It's not been perfect yet, but it's been much easier car to drive than what we had here. So pretty happy with the handling and the engine package we got.
Smoke is smiling, and he's got 3 straight top 10s here in Michigan.
And he is second fastest so far. So Trevor Bayne's lap put Johnny Sauter on the trailer. Robbie Gordon will not be racing in Michigan on Sunday in the number 7. The 3 cars that go home are Sauter, Darnell, and Bell. Here's the Aaron's Dream Machine for David Rudiman, who started the June race here from the outside pole.
Had a wild, wicked-looking wreck last week, involved in that situation there with David Reagan.
Quicker yet.
Going into turn number 2.
Got a great run off turn 4. I think it's going to be fast enough to knock his teammate Truex off the top. It will. 38.22.
By 5/100ths, David Rudiman eclipses Martin Truex, and Rudiman right now is the pole sitter. Coming up, Casey Kane, Joey Logano, and there's last week's winner, Marcus Ambrose, who will be on trackside tonight.
This August, primetime on Speed is all new, all action, all summer long. With the 10. Fast time.
Name the time, win the cash, it's that easy.
Dumbest stuff on wheels. My Ride Rules. The Car Show with Adam Carolla.
I don't remember the boy wonder having man boobs.
And American Trucker.
This is kick butt.
Tune in and turn it up for a hot new primetime all month long on Speed, the Motorsports Authority.
We've got all you need for back to school with low prices every day on everything. Backed by our ad match guarantee. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
You okay?
I'm not looking forward to my flight.
Try this.
Bear aspirin. I'm not having a heart attack. It's my back.
No, this is new Bear Advanced aspirin. Clinically proven to relieve tough pain twice as fast as before.
Would you invent this or something?
Well, my team did. I'm Dr. Eric First from Bayer.
Wow.
Look, it has microparticles. It enters the bloodstream faster and rushes relief right to the site of pain. Better?
Great. Thanks.
New Bayer Advanced Aspirin. Extra strength pain relief, twice as fast. Test our fast relief. Love it, or get your money back.
Water was meant to be perfect. Crisp, clear, untouched. That's why there's Brita, to make the water we drink taste a little more perfect. Reduce lead and other impurities with the advanced filtration system of Brita.
And you can even pick your payment date for the loan.
You do that?
I do.
Ready, Daddy?
Yes. City Financial is now One Main Financial. Personalized loan solutions that still focus on you.
In the Red Bull Toyota, I tweeted this morning we had something you didn't know about Casey Kane and aspiring young drivers. Maybe you didn't know. You probably knew that he began his racing career at Deming Speedway in Deming, Washington, 135 miles north of his hometown in Enumclaw. But right now, our fellas called and talked to Paul, who was watering the track when they called. They run a class called Casey Kane's Juniors. It's for 7 to 13-year-olds. They get about 15 cars every week. It's been great for the track because the kids then tend to move up to other divisions. They run 4 different classes there. Eli Schmidt, 11 years old, leads the points in that division. And here's the kicker. Every week, Casey Kane pays the entry fee for every kid in that class.
Wow.
Yeah, that's neat. And so many cases of so many of these drivers giving back. Casey giving it back to aspiring race car drivers, and so many of the other drivers here have foundations. And I know Kevin Harvick had a big event at the baseball game here in the last week or so.
Well, let's see. You and Larry and Bob Dillner and I all support an aspiring race driver, but in each case, it's our own son.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm working on about my 12th year. Casey Kane ends up second, and where he lost it was all in the middle of 3 and 4. It's maybe like he just couldn't put the throttle down. The car was in a slide, because he was definitely a little better than David Rudiman up to that point.
All right, second fastest for Kane behind Rudiman. And here's Wendy.
Another first-time winner, last week's winner, Marcus Ambrose. Marcus, what has your week been like, my friend?
It's just been a great week. You know, I just got to thank Stanley, DeWalt, and Ford, and Rich Petty Motorsports for giving me the chance. And, you know, I've done a lot of media all around the world, and I never thought it'd have this much reach, but it made my mum happy at least. That's good.
Well, that's good. What are you expecting to get out of your race car in this qualifying session?
Yeah, well, 10th quick in practice. Pretty happy with that. And I messed up turn 1 a little bit. So we got a chance for the pole. We'll just see how it plays out.
Okay, well, good luck to Marcus. And I talked to his wife, Sonia, on Sunday, and she said to me on Sunday, I think I may have to fly home to get their daughter Adelaide to their first day of school. She missed victory lane. So upsetting.
Oh, wow. There'll be other victory lanes. Don't worry. Will this start the march of Australian Supercar Series drivers to the United States? Who knows?
Well, you know, Marcus said he didn't realize that it had the reach that it had, all the press he's done. Well, he was from down under, and he knew about this series, and he wanted to come here. So NASCAR has a reach up, goes all around the world.
Joey Logano recovering nicely from a spin 40 minutes into the practice session. Logano is 9th quickest in the Home Depot Camry, 38.36. He's just half a hundredth behind Carl Edwards for 8th. So let's recap. Rudiman fastest with a 22, 38.22. Kane with a 27. Truex a 28, Stewart a 29, Jimmy Johnson with a 34, Trevor Bayne a 34, Casey Mears a 35, Carl Edwards, Joey Logano, and Kevin Harvick are the top 10.
They're clogged up there, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Bob?
Well, a big wreck last week for David Rudiman. We've talked about that, but your boss man, Michael Waltrip, came up and told me, you know, if you keep on running like you just did in qualifying, he's going to hit you in the other lane.
Yeah, I'd let him do it. We still got a lot of really fast cars to go, but it's a decent lap. Hopefully it'll hold up good and give us a good starting position and a good pit selection for the Airstream machine. And I'm glad to be here and glad to be away from Watkins Glen. That's a cool racetrack, but it wasn't very good to me the other day.
Glad to see David Rudiman A-okay.
You bet. He was in a bad spot at a wrong time when David Reagan came across track after contact with Boris Said. More on that later as the National Guard Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes out to run. Now, Jr.'s best time trial this year at a non-restrictor plate track was right here at Michigan in June, where he time trialed 15th. There are 15 cars to go. And Earnhardt P1.
I tell you what, take a look at that little number in the blue box down there, right? He's working on about a 10th to a 10th and a half better than David Rudiman. It's definitely going to be a pole run for the time being. How about 38.16? I think Junior Nation in the stands likes that.
And guys, did you see his line? Right down on the bottom of the racetrack, down in 3 and 4. Everyone else has been middle to top.
That's right, way down the racetrack at that end of the speedway, the north end. Two-time pole sitter here at Michigan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. sets the standard, 38.16. Montoya, Kurt Busch, and Hamlin next.
On an all-new episode of The Car Show, Dave Mira schools Matt on rally racing in Seattle, and I stopped by the New York Auto Show.
Why are we standing in front of a boat at a car show?
Wednesday, only on Speed.
You could save a bundle with Geico's multi-policy discount. Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
People everywhere are taking a stand and booking on choicehotels.com.
When I book a hotel online, it should be simple and easy.
We have the right to take the kids on a wonderful vacation.
As long as I save 20%.
I want to guarantee that my room rate is the lowest on the web.
With no vacation bedtime?
Don't push it.
Oh.
It's your voice, it's your choicehotels.com. Get the best internet rate guaranteed and save up to 20% every day. Book now at choicehotels.com.
Engines are tuned. So are Mobil 1 motor oils. Tuned for blistering performance. Tuned for everyday extremes. And with Mobil 1 Extended Performance, tuned to keep your engine running like new for up to 15,000 miles between oil changes. Mobil 1 Extended Performance, from the motor oil brand designed to keep your engine running like new.
You don't have to go to extreme measures to get better mileage.
Just do simple things like have your tires checked for proper inflation.
Or get your oil changed and your car serviced regularly.
Just routinely change clogged air filters.
At NASCAR, we're even changing our engines to fuel injection in 2012 to increase mileage and performance.
For more car maintenance tips and to enter the Extreme Measure Sweepstakes, visit NASCAR.com/auto.
It's got to be a lot easier than this.
Welcome back to Michigan. 14 cars to go in qualifying. Dale Jr. fastest. Rudiman, Kane, Truex, and Stewart the top 5. Johnson, Bain, Mears, Edwards, and Logano the top 10. Here's Juan Pablo Montoya, the Target Chevrolet.
How about the line he ran there down in 3 and 4 as compared to Dale Jr.'s? He was a full 30 feet higher on the racetrack than Dale Jr. was.
You can always depend on Montoya running a line that's different from most everyone else.
12th fastest for Juan at a 38.50. Wendy?
Brad Keselowski, you had a great week leading up to this race because that hat that everyone in the booth is arguing about, you actually got to go watch some practice, and I heard that even the trainers looked at your ankle there.
I had a great time. I've been going to the Michigan football practice the last few years and got to go this year, and really enjoyed going there and seeing another sport and how it works and operates. But it's a good time. So now we're here. Back at the Speedway, not too far away from the stadium, by the way, but back at the Speedway and ready to get going in the Blue Deuce here. It's got some decent speed. I don't know if I got anything for that lap Dale put up, but sure going to try like hell and we'll have to see what we got.
All right, Brad Keselowski has said he will not be wearing that brace, you guys, this weekend for the race.
He is a Michigan native, of course, so University of Michigan has played pretty prominently throughout his lifetime, as has Phil's.
Yeah, all the Detroit teams. I know he's a big hockey fan, and we've got a little pennant race going on with the Tigers tonight here in town playing the Indians.
Yeah, enjoy the game.
Thank you.
All right, Kurt Busch and the Pennzoil Dodge on track. Here's Bob.
A great lap by the 88 bunch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And the boys up in the booth said they noticed that you ran a lot lower line than anybody else. Did you find the secret?
I don't know. I just like running down there, but it wasn't a perfect lap. I think there's another 10th or 2 out there, and I'm sure some of them guys up there will find it, but I'm pretty happy. We struggled in qualifying all year long, and that was good effort on the team today.
Good effort by the entire team. Dale knows he wants to qualify in the top 10.
Kurt Busch, a 2-time pole sitter here, not today, 3rd fastest for the Double Deuce, 38.25, and Busch, another driver who had the pole in turns 1 and 2 and saw it slip away in turns 3 and 4.
I tell you, Dale Jr., as opposed to what Kurt Busch did, when he went down to the bottom, he gained ground down in 3 and 4. That may be the ticket to a pole running run.
Yeah, regardless, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to have a pretty decent starting spot for the green flag on Sunday.
12 drivers to go. The Shell Pennzoil Dodge of Roger Penske ends up 3rd for the moment, behind Earnhardt Jr. and Rudiman, and ahead of Kane, Truex, the top 5, then Stewart, Johnson, Bain, Mears, and Edwards, the top 10. Denny Hamlin has gone from 9th to 12th in the standings, 33 behind 10th over the last 7 races. Last year, he was piling up his 6th win of the season in this race.
Been running well, just hasn't had the luck that he had last year. Obviously, this is the first race with a TRD engine in this JGR car.
He's on a pretty good lap, about halfway down the back straightaway right now. They're going to run that Toyota Racing Development engine package the rest of the year, with the exception of Bristol next week in this 11.
Climbing up toward the fastest spot. The only downside to that consolidation is it leaves only Chevrolet where teams would have a choice of engine builders in the Sprint Cup Series. Top of the heap for Denny Hamlin, 38.03. 189.29 miles an hour. Hamlin is fastest.
Phil, we're getting a little closer to those 37-second bracket. We're only 3/100ths off of it right now.
Knocking on the door.
So Hamlin quickest with 11 cars to go. If you joined us late, the 3 drivers that have been eliminated are Johnny Sauter trying to qualify Robbie Gordon's car, Eric Darnell, and TJ Bell. So the top 5 are now Hamlin, Earnhardt, Rudeman, Kurt Busch, and Kane.
And honestly, those 3 drivers, I know we still have 11 drivers to go, but that's the 3 slowest drivers right now. You know, top 35, go or go homers, that's the 3 slowest guys right now.
Kyle Busch, who doesn't know slow, brings his Interstate Batteries Camry out. Kyle looking for his first Michigan win. Took over the points lead at Watkins Glen, where he got his first pole of the season and led the most laps. Finished 3rd.
Finished 3rd here in June as well. Look how high he is on the racetrack.
And look where the tracker goes.
Wrong direction. See if he has that momentum, though, from running high down the back straightaway. He's actually gaining ground down the back straightaway. See what he does when he gets down here to 3.
It's almost like it hurts you through the middle, but as you keep the momentum off the corner, maybe keep the RPM up, he's running. That's what you'll run in the race on Sunday.
He about ran out of racetrack right there.
But it seems like it definitely helps him on the exit. It's still going to be a great run for him.
8th for Kyle Busch, 38.29. So the top 5. Hamlin, Earnhardt, Rudeman, Kurt Busch, and Kane. Then Truex, Kyle Busch, Stewart, Johnson, and Bain. Marcus Ambrose next.
Where'd you get that idea? How'd you learn to do that? What'd you use? Every project we finish comes with a story built in. It's how our rough ideas become, you did that yourself? So when we can save more on the projects that let us fix, make, and do more, well, that just makes the stories even better. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Add some style to your sink with this Moen Banbury faucet for the new lower price of $79.
Here's to the pursuit of better, faster, cleaner, funner. Here's to the pursuit of another 100 years of earning America's trust. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
For the worst allergies, I want a product with the best decongestant. My choice is clear, Claritin D.
Nothing works stronger, faster, or longer for allergy congestion relief without drowsiness. Get Claritin D at the pharmacy counter.
Live Claritin Clear.
Racing returns to Atlanta Motor Speedway with the biggest Labor Day party in the USA, featuring a pre-race concert by Leonard Skinner. Sunday tickets start at $39. Kids 12 and under free Friday and Saturday. Call 8779-AMS-TIX or go to AtlantaMotorspeedway.com.
The biggest pre-race show in NASCAR marches into Michigan. NASCAR Race Day. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin join us live. Marcos Ambrose explains why his first Sprint Cup victory was so meaningful and if he can ride the momentum to a chase berth. Plus, we'll look back at the controversy and carnage from the Glen. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Michigan, Sunday at 10 Eastern. And join the celebration at 8 Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, only on Speed.
Happiest man in the Sprint Cup garage, Marcus Ambrose from Tasmania. And the Stanley DeWalt Ford, number 9, winner at Watkins Glen in his 105th career start.
Marcus, another one of the drivers that's going to be going back and forth from Michigan to Montreal. He'll be running the Nationwide Series race up there tomorrow.
Was so disappointed not to be able to run the Nationwide race at Watkins Glen. He'd won the previous 3, wanted to go for 4 in a row, didn't quite get the sponsorship package in place in time to do it, but is going to do it at Montreal.
You know, I read something yesterday, and I think you'll relate to this, as Marcus is running on a top 10 run. He won Watkins Glen in a Petty Ford. The last Petty win in a Ford was Martinsville, 1969.
That was the one and only season that Richard Petty drove a Ford in Sprint Cup competition. Chrysler, Plymouth, Petty was a Plymouth driver. They had an argument with NASCAR over the rules and withdrew. Richard even went drag racing for a while, but then came and ran a Ford. So Marcus is 7th. For the moment, he is, however, the fastest Ford. Bob?
Denny Hamlin, the fastest Toyota, actually the fastest car of all so far. How is that Toyota TRD horsepower?
It's good. I mean, it's so tough to say, and really, until you get in the race conditions, you know, what differences you can feel. But just can't say enough from everyone at TRD and Joe Gibbs Racing for putting this deal together. And this is going to be a long compilation of engineering things, and we're going to bring a lot to the table for them as well as they're going to bring it to us. So can't say enough for them and their efforts to get this thing in here in such short notice.
Hey, last week that hard wreck at Watkins Glen had all of us go, oh my. How you feeling?
Feel good. I felt better. You know, today is better than yesterday, but Wednesday was the worst by far. It's a little tough to sit down right now. My tailbone's hurting me pretty good, but other than that, it's just it's good to be back at a racetrack and obviously being competitive.
Still nice to see Denny Hamlin come out of that one okay.
Yeah, Hamlin had a brake problem that sent him into the turn 1 tire wall. Here is Brad Keselowski. Almost quick enough for the top spot, 38.09 to Hamlin's 38.03, and the Blue Deuce, which has jumped 9-point positions from 23rd to 14th in the last 3 races. The Miller Lite car stands only 58 points out of the top 10.
And boys, he's going to be in the chase, but regardless of how he does it, don't count him out for making it to the top 10. This is going to be a driver, I think, to deal with in that championship chase.
I think Paul Wolf may grab a baseball bat and hit him in the other end.
Yes, sir.
I hope not. 8 cars to go. Here's Jamie Mack in the Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boat Chevrolet. Started the June race a year ago from the outside pole. He has one 4th place finish here that came in his first tour of duty for Chip Ganassi.
And in this team, they're just trying to stop the bleeding. This is a team that won 3 races last year, and he did finish 4th at Indy, but that is his only top 5 finish in the last 27 races, 22 this year and the last 5 of last year.
And another team with a recent crew chief change. No, excuse me.
No, it was the 42 over at Montoya, right. Jim Pullman. Kevin Mannion still looking after McMurray.
You're right. Sorry, Bono.
Poor Bono just hit the floor. It's going to be a good lap for Jamie in this one car. They really picked it up at the end of practice. I mean, almost as the red and the black flag was being waved.
Boy, that run kept getting better and better. Yeah. Came off turn 4 in about 8th and tracks are now into 4th.
Bono feels better now.
Yep, 4th for Jamie McMurray and his still crew chief, Kevin Mannion. Jeff Gordon is next. Sorry, Bono.
A fierce championship battle continues.
This is for the lead in GT.
Oh,
so close.
With 2 to go, it's now or never.
This is awesome.
The Rolex Sports Car Series from Montreal, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Tell me about Castrol GTX with Tri-Shield.
First it attracts particles.
Like a bug lamp.
Right, then it captures them.
Like a mousetrap.
Then it disperses them.
Like a slingshot.
Helps stop deposits.
From building up.
In your engine.
Right.
Castrol GTX with Tri-Shield. It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Golden Corral's pan-seared seafood cooking stations are open and the reviews are in.
My chef pan-seared my scallops right before my eyes.
It was fresh, it was tasty, it was hot.
It's all part of our endless dinner buffet for one incredibly low price. Only at Golden Corral.
I love racing. I love to rock. And I love to refresh. Life on the road feels like home. Because at Dollar General, is never far away.
You could see Darius Rucker live at Chicagoland Speedway and win a 2011 Toyota Tundra. Coca-Cola's Race, Rock, and Refresh sweepstakes. Enter for your chance to win at DollarGeneral.com.
This is a public announcement. CNNMoney.com reports that in some areas of the country, buyers are scooping up homes for as little as $1,000. Foreclosures are at an all-time high. Government and private banks are liquidating these homes now. If you currently rent a house or apartment, you may call now and learn how to receive your free list of these homes. All others may call tomorrow. Every house must be sold. This is a public announcement.
Call 1-800-929-0938, 1-800-929-0938. Call now.
Hi, I'm Abby Wambach, and I used my head a lot to score in this year's World Cup. I'm here to tell you how you can score the hottest money-saving device since the invention of the telephone. It's called the Magic Jack. I use it to call home every day for free, saving me hundreds of dollars. I love Magic Jack, and you will too.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Veterans tangled on the tricky triangle as Kevin Harvick powered his way to a Pocono win. Saturday, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to Michigan. Bragging rights are always on the line in the Motor City.
Contact right there. Problems on the racetrack.
And the pressure to win here makes for one wild ride.
Oh!
Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Michigan. Saturday at noon Eastern, only on Speed.
Jeff Gordon in the DuPont Chevrolet. On track as we have 7 drivers to go. Denny Hamlin is quickest at 38.03. Gordon, a 5-time pole sitter and 2-time winner at Michigan, with a whole handful of, and then some, of runner-up finishes here.
23 top 10 finishes he's had here at this racetrack.
We talked about this in practice. All they worked on, he and Alan Gustafson, was qualifying runs. Phil, he said earlier this week, he said, even with my 2 wins and looking like we're going to make the chase, he has the worst average start this year of his 19 years in Sprint Cup. He said, we know if we want to win the championship, we better start qualifying better.
Well, he has 8 front row starts here, and Gordon will time in 4th. He is just 1/100th slower than his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. So the top 5 are Hamlin, Keselowski, Earnhardt, Gordon, and McMurray. The rest of the top 10, Rudiman, Kurt Busch, Kane, Truex, and Ambrose. Wendy?
Yep, it's a Toyota, a Chevy, and a Dodge up there. Greg Biffle, can your Ford knock them up the top?
Well, I certainly hope so. You know, this Pure Michigan car has been pretty fast up here. I love this racetrack, so we'll just have to see. It's really hot right now. Sun's still out. I know it's cooled off a little bit maybe, but we'll just have to wait and see. I think this car's pretty fast. I know Matt's got a fast car too.
So high or low, which way?
I'm going to run the middle.
Middle it is for Greg Biffle.
He and Boris Said have had a couple long conversations over the week, patched things up. They each understand where the other stood on that late run at Watkins Glen last week. Everything's settled between the two. Here's Paul Menard, another of this year's first-time winners, who scored top 10 finishes in 4 of the last 8 races, including his victory at the Brickyard. And the Menards Duracell Chevrolet was the 6th fastest car in practice today.
Had a good weekend here back in June. Qualified 9th, ended up finishing 4th. In fact, this is the same car that he finished 4th with in June. Looks like he's going to be well up inside the top 10 with this run.
6th fastest for Menard. He is the 4th quickest Chevrolet at 38.22, 188.3 miles an hour.
So you throw the top 2 out, the 38.03 and the 38.09 of Hamlin and Keselowski. Then you have a bunch from 38.16 in 3rd all the way back to 12th, 13th at a 38.29.
Hamlin, Keselowski, Earnhardt, Gordon, the front 4. Monday at Watkins Glen, the most horrific crash involved Boris Said and David Reagan. Reagan comes up into Said's path, pounds off the guardrail into David Rudiman across the track. Rudiman flips. Both cars destroyed. And since our practice show, we've heard that no, Reagan's spotter did not clear him, and this is from some of the folks we've heard from, but clearly David Reagan came across the front of Sed's car, looking to get up into the groove for the entrance to turn 2. Boris was trying to get to the outside of Reagan to beat him across turn 2. Racing incident. Hard to pin any fault right there, regardless of what anybody's spotter may or may not have said. And Rudiman just an innocent victim.
Well, we talked before the show. It was a case of 2 or 3 drivers battling for position on the white flag lap. Now, not battling for a real high position, but no give and no take. Maybe a lot of take, no give.
So here comes David Reagan, trying for his first top 10 start at Michigan. He does have a 3rd place finish in this race in 2008.
It's going to be a pole run, but it's going to be a solid run for David Reagan in the 6th. Should put him up in the top 5 for now.
3rd, 38-14.
Another one of those cars in the teens.
So by a wide margin, this will be his best Michigan start.
See if we can detect a little bit of smoke here from David Reagan. A little bit of smoke from the right front. Looks like maybe the right front tire just rubbing just a touch, Larry.
Well, and more than likely, when you look back at what he ran in practice, he ran a 38-24. Obviously run a little faster, car travels a little more, things start rubbing and bottoming out.
Great run for David Reagan, shaking off a lot of soreness from Monday's wreck at Watkins Glen. There's the fastest man in practice, Matt Kenseth. He is coming up along with Mark Martin, Greg Biffle, and Ryan Newman. Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski. David Reagan are quickest.
Good to go. With gas prices soaring, we have to find a way to make it all work. Our cars, for example. Some serve a purpose. Others, well, they're for the fun of it. Bottom line, we need to take care of them. Lucas fuel-saving motor oils have special additives for maximum compression and minimum friction. And more importantly these days, better fuel mileage. You work hard for your money. Spend it wisely. Lucas fuel-saving motor oils are available at AutoZone and other fine retailers.
We bring news of a new tea that fits like no other.
Wear them well.
We ride!
Amazing. Inspiring. Breathtaking. Every chase, every race. This is Magnavox. See what you've been missing. Magnavox. Engineered in Japan by Funai. Available at Target.
You ready for this? I just signed the whole family up for unlimited mobile-to-mobile minutes.
You're kidding. No. Where's that money coming from, Steve? Did it even cross your mind to ask your wife before signing us up for something so expensive? My mother was right. I should have married John Clark.
They were free. I got them when I signed us up for unlimited messaging.
When you buy AT&T's unlimited messaging plan, families can call any U.S. mobile phone for free. AT&T.
This August, Primetime on Speed is all new, all action, all summer long. With the 10. Pastime.
Name the time, win the cash, it's that easy.
Dumbest stuff on wheels. My Ride Rules. The Car Show with Adam Carolla.
I don't remember the boy wonder having man boobs.
And American Trucker.
This is kick butt.
Tune in and turn it up for a hot new primetime all month long on Speed, the Motorsports Authority.
Mark Martin in the CarQuest Chevrolet will make his 52nd start at Michigan on Sunday. That's 26 years plus of racing, because remember, he was out of the sport for 4 years, rideless, since his first trips here in 1982 and 83. Then he hooked on with Jack Roush, and the rest, as they say, history.
30 top 10 finishes, the most of anybody in the history of this racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, the man has led 909 laps at this racetrack.
Wow. 18th in points. Dropped 3 spots after a 25th place finish at Watkins. 8th at Indy is his best finish in the last 11 races.
I think he's going pretty happy with this run right here. It's right there on. It'll be on the front row for the time being.
And we're showing Jack Roush not because Mark Martin doesn't drive for him anymore, but because 2 of the 3 cars yet to go belong to Jack. So Mark 38.05, second to Denny Hamlin's 38.03.
Well, we talk about this being the home for 3 of the 4 manufacturers. This is the house that Jack built too, from nearby Livonia, Michigan. The man has 11 Cup wins at this racetrack.
So Greg Biffle comes out of the number 16 Roush Fenway Ford Fusion, and this is the pure Michigan Ford.
That's a good-looking car.
Yeah, it is. There's the state of Michigan, the mitten, the thumb, the whole, the UP. That looks pretty cool. This is a bid to boost Michigan tourism. Sunday's race is the pure Michigan 400. Greg was 3rd in practice. He has 1 front row start here.
208 miles an hour off into turn 1. You can see the tracker. I mean, he's got a 10th and a half in the bank halfway down the back straightaway, but 3 and 4, that's been the Achilles heel for so many drivers.
He said he was going to run the middle of the racetrack. Let's see if he does it. That's where he is, right in the middle. Tracker's staying pretty good, Larry.
Starting to lose just a little bit right here. If you can get off 4 and stay in the throttle, this is going to be down in the 37s for sure.
Picking up as he comes to the line. And Greg Biffle, who will look for his 3rd Michigan win on Sunday, is fastest. And he blew away the field by 0.2 of a second.
I mean, a driver that just needs something good to happen. If you just go back to Watkins Glen, they run out of fuel in the middle of the race.
And here's Bob with the driver who stands 5th.
That's right, David Reagan. A pretty good lap for him in a tough couple of weeks. Is this the week that the bleeding stops, David?
Yeah, we knew that was a tough stretch coming into these last few weeks, and we didn't plan on being involved in accidents and having fuel mileage burn us at some of these races. But our UPS team have worked hard. We've overcome a lot of adversity all year, and we're still in the hunt. Another win, a few good top 5 finishes, and man, we're right back there. So a couple of weeks ago, we were the #1 wild card spot, fresh off a win. And so, yeah, we've struggled, but this is a good track for Ford and for Roush, and couldn't be more happy to be here.
You got to love David Reagan's attitude.
Absolutely. Reagan currently 5th. It's Biffle fastest, Denny Hamlin, Mark Martin, Brad Keselowski, and Reagan the top 5. Earnhardt, Gordon, McMurray, Menard, and Rudeman the top 10. And here is the Rocket. Ryan Newman has only 1 pole here, but he has 2 victories. And in June picked up a 6th place finish here. Wix Filter Chevy. Close, 3rd right now. He needs a 10th.
It'll be hard to get that 10th through this corner here. Greg Biffle came off the corner and actually gained ground down the straightaway. It's going to be a good lap for Ryan Newman. Maybe outside front row for now.
That's what it's looking like. It's not going to be up there in Greg Biffle land exactly, but he gets in the 37s, 37.98, 189.5 miles an hour, 2nd to Greg Biffle. Somewhat of a home game for Ryan Newman from nearby South Bend, Indiana.
Watch this, Larry. I was watching this. Look at, there's a bump now where they build a new tunnel, but watch that front end just keep bouncing.
Yeah, it never really settles down, and that's certainly not something you want for speed. Yeah, I've noticed every car, and I think even saw it in truck practice. When they'd go across that start-finish line, boy, that nose would really go down and bottom out and pop back up.
So we're down to our final qualifier in the Kroger Ford from Wisconsin. The driver who once explained winning the season's award for gaining the most positions came because he was such a lousy qualifier. He's fastest in practice. He's Matt Kenseth, driving for Roush Fenway and looking for his 3rd win of the season.
Matt qualified 3rd here in June and then finished 2nd. So this is a good racetrack for him. He's got a shot at it. He's within a 10th of a second of Biffle right now as he exits 2.
Now, he has a pole earlier this year, sat on the pole back at Las Vegas, and halfway down the back straightaway going off into turn 3, about a 0.5 tenth better than his teammate Greg Biffle.
We told you this morning this was a Ford racetrack, and it may be a blue oval front row. Here comes Kenseth.
It's going to be close.
So close.
No, he didn't get it.
2/100ths of a second. But Jack's pretty happy because that is a Roush Fenway all front row.
Greg Biffle wins his 7th career pole in his 317th start. It's been 117 races. Dover, June of 08. Since Biffle last sat on the pole, he becomes the 15th different pole winner of the season, and it's his first ever at Michigan. And Matt Kenseth is disappointed by 27 1/1000ths of a second. Bob?
So close for Greg Biffle, but I know you're a happy man beating out your teammate for the pole there. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, Matt is becoming a hell of a qualifier. You know, he makes fun of himself when he gets up there, you know, says throttle sticks. But no, great job for the whole Ford camp. You know, I want to, you know, thank Ford for all their support. You know, I know it means a lot to them here in Michigan to have this thing on the front. We got Pure Michigan on the car this weekend. We're missing 3M, but going to have dinner with them in Montreal here in a little bit. But just so proud of the guys. And they work so hard. Matt Pusha, he's a great crew chief, and he's really focused on these race cars. And just, man, I can't wait for Sunday.
I tell you what, you're right in the middle of a chase, you know, battle to get in that chase. How bad do you need to win? And this is a great track for it, Greg.
Yeah, we do. It's obvious. We have to win to get in. And, you know, we feel like we can win here. We feel like we can win at Bristol. We feel like we can win at Atlanta. You know, so it's, you know, we have 3 great tracks. We'll just see what we can do on Sunday about getting this car in victory lane.
By the way, did you lift it all?
I did a little bit down there at 1, and I thought that he'd have me because I had to get out of the gas a little on exit. I was just a hair loose, but I was able to. I really made up some time down 3 and 4.
Biff, looking good here this weekend.
First time ever that Roush Fenway has, or excuse me, 10th time they've swept the front row. First time ever at Michigan. Here's another look.
Yeah, and I know how happy Jack Roush is to do well here at Michigan because I've seen him when he's won a truck race here as excited as you can be.
You can see he took a high entrance down into turn 1 and kind of took the car down the hill to the middle, not all the way to the bottom, but got a great run right here, and he was well on the pole halfway down the back straightaway.
You know, that kind of had the look of a road race style late, you know, high entry, late apex, give yourself all the room in the world coming off line.
Looked like he never stopped turning. Once he got down to as low as he was going to get, then he started back up the hill to exit the corner.
But where so many drivers lost it, he actually gained ground right here off of 4 back to the white flag, or what ended up being the checker flag.
Yeah, coming off 4, he was gaining time all the way. Jack Roush and Roush Fenway Racing. There'll be a lot of celebrating in Dearborn tonight because it's an all Ford front row for Sunday's Cup race in Michigan.
We've got all you need for back to school with low prices every day on everything. Backed by our Ad Match Guarantee. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
Here's to the pursuit of better, faster, cleaner, funner. Here's to the pursuit of another 100 years of earning America's trust. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
This is Lisa, who tries to stay ahead of her class. Morning starts with arthritis pain. That's 2 pills before the first bell. It's time for recess and more pills. Afternoon art starts and so does her knee pain. That's 2 more pills. Almost done, but hang on. Her doctor recommended Aleve because it can relieve pain all day with just 2 pills. This is Lisa, who switched to Aleve and fewer pills for a day free of pain. And get the all-day pain relief of Aleve in liquid gels.
And if things change, we can always discuss your loan options.
You never know.
Twins.
Twins?
Citi Financial is now One Main Financial. Personalized loan solutions that still focus on you.
Kim and James are what you might call overly protective, especially behind the wheel. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, Allstate gives them a bonus twice a year for being safe drivers. Dollar per dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
Once Dave and his friends experienced the bone-rattling intensity of NASCAR, they knew it was time to reconfigure his surround sound.
All right, guys, here it comes.
15,000 watts later, they realized that if everything was more like NASCAR, everything would be more awesome.
The biggest pre-race show in NASCAR marches into Michigan. NASCAR Race Day. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Denny Hamlin join us live. Marco Zambros explains why his first Sprint Cup victory was so meaningful and if he can ride the momentum to a chase berth. Plus, we'll look back at the controversy and carnage from the Glen. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Michigan, Sunday at 10 Eastern. And join the celebration at 8 Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, only on Speed. NASCAR on Speed is presented in high definition by Funai.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Greg Biffle, first pole since 2008 at Dover, and his Roush Fenway Ford teammate Matt Kenseth, fifth top 10 start at Michigan, including the last 3 races in a row. It's an all Ford front row for Sunday's Pure Michigan 400.
3 Roush cars up in the top 10 with David Reagan back in 7th, but the other fourth Roush car, where's it, Larry?
About like practice, back in 22nd position. Carl Edwards in the 99 car, second in the points right now.
Well, we heard from our pole sitter. Let's hear from the other side of the front row. Here's Wendy.
27 one-thousandths of a second. That's how close it was. Jack Roush just congratulating you as well, because it's an all Roush Fenway front row. Did it feel 27 one-thousandths different?
Well, you know, I think I would have had a shot at the pole if I went to looked up at the board. You know, they got the big screen down there, and I watched Greg's lap, and I saw the lap time. I was like, that's really, really fast. You know, so I got loose coming to the green, so I overdrove turn 1 to make sure I kept the car tight enough, and I overdrove it a little bit. But I was pretty far over my head. I was glad to get a lap that good. That was we had a ton of speed. I want to thank Kroger for sponsoring our car this weekend. I'm pretty excited about that. It has flames on it, so DW should be happy. So all Roush front row. So it was a good lap for us, and look forward to Sunday. Yeah, it is going to be a good race for you guys. You had a great finish in the spring. Are you expecting much of the same with the Roush Ford camp again this time around? Well, I hope so. I mean, we hope to improve it and try to do one better, but we had a really fast car last time, and Denny beat me there at the end. I couldn't figure out how to beat him on that green-white checkered, so hopefully have our car turning just a little bit better than the last race. We can improve it just a little bit and hopefully have a shot. All right, good luck to Matt Kenseth. No doubt it will be a strong weekend for this organization. Mike.
Thanks, Wendy. Looking ahead here in Michigan, tomorrow, Camping World qualifying for the trucks, 9 a.m. Eastern. Sprint Cup final practice, 10 to noon. The Camping World Truck Series setup presented by Polaris. Krista will have that at noon Eastern time. And then the VFW 200 for the Truck Series beginning 12:30 Eastern time. Sorry for our lack of graphics, but here's the way they will start the Pure Michigan 400 on Sunday. Top 10, Greg Biffle, Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin, Mark Martin 5th. Brad Keselowski, David Reagan, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, and Jamie McMurray 10th.
11 through 20, Menard, Ruderman, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, Truex, Ambrose, Kyle Busch, Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, and Trevor Bayne.
21st back to 30th, Casey Mears, Carl Edwards, Logano, Harvick, Montoya, Vickers, Quapple, Bobby Labonte, Allmendinger, and Regan Smith.
Then it's Yaley, Burton, Castle, Blaney, Boyer, Stremme, Nemechek, Lally, Gilliland, Bodine, Rain, Schrader, Skinner. That's the field. See you tomorrow.
Speed Center NASCAR Edition is fired up. Just in case you missed the Demolition Derby on Monday, don't worry. We've got the Watkins Glen wrap-up. Junior has his sights set on the chase. Will a familiar victory lane help secure his spot? Danica's back, just north of the border. I hit the wall. Junior's future employee takes on her first NASCAR road course. And although he has 100 wins, Rowdy's impressive truck history lacks a Michigan trophy.
Just suck at Michigan.
No holding us back. This is Speed Center, NASCAR Edition.
Weekend was driver 11.
And then there's Brad Keselowski. He's number 1 on the wild card list, and he continues his impressive run of late. 9th in P1 today. Clint Boyer. Well, he's 11th in the standings, 25 out of the top 10, 22nd in practice, and right behind Tony Stewart, who was 21st in the session, smoked right in front of Boyer in the points. He is 10th, and the last guy in when it comes to points position. Dale Earnhardt Jr., a little breathing room, 15th in practice. He is 9th in the standings entering this weekend, 36 markers in front of 11th. Matt Kenseth, quickest in practice today. We hear now from Denny Hamlin.
It was a good practice. I felt like we've learned a lot. Obviously had some good finishes the last 3 times here. So, once you get a car to a certain feel, and it's obviously won a race before, you try to search for that feel, and I think we're getting there. We're about 75% there right now.
We're definitely not the fastest car. We're not the fastest car in qualifying trim either, but it feels like it's got better balance than when we were here in the spring. So hopefully we're not going to fight the same issues we had the first race here this year.
We were slow. Matt Kenseth was really fast, though, so we're going to lean on his setup. I just had the chance to talk to him a little bit about how he was driving in qualifying trim, and I hope that the early, going out early with the sun and everything doesn't hurt us too bad, because I feel like the car has a ton of potential.
Practice earlier today. We fast forward to qualifying. Clint Boyer, we told you he needs a good run, starts 35th. Carl Edwards, slowest of the Roush guys, starts 22nd on Sunday. And there you see Clint Boyer on track. Okay, let's do this again. Clint Boyer going to start 35th on Sunday. He's got a long way to go, and he needs a good run because he's trying to make the chase. Then you have Carl Edwards, slowest of the Roush Fenway organization. He will start 22nd on Sunday afternoon. Dale Jr., great in qualifying. Driver 88 rolling from the outside of row 4. And what about Brad Keselowski? This kid, impressive week in and week out. He qualified 6th earlier today. We heard from Denny Hamlin, pretty good in practice, great in qualifying. The June winner going to start 4th on Sunday afternoon. The front row, all about Jack Roush. Matt Kenseth, who was quick in practice, puts it on the front row and only outdone by Greg Biffle, who captured career pole number 7. with a speed of 190.345 miles per hour. You see the rest of the top 10. Ryan Newman, a victory wouldn't do anything wrong for him when it comes to the chase. And Mark Martin also starting in the top 5. Martin, a 5-time winner when it comes to Michigan International Speedway. So you want the breakdown on Greg Biffle? We give it to you. Here are the numbers for the Biff when it comes to qualifying. Yes, we told you it's his 7th career pole. The first time he's led him to the green at Michigan. He has 2 wins at the track, one in 2004, the other coming 6 years ago. For more from Michigan, we turn now to Bob Dillner. He's been interviewing drivers all day long. Now he's answering questions on Speed Center. Good afternoon, Bob. And we begin with the cat in the hat. We know Michigan is a Ford track. Kenseth and Biffle delivering for Jack Roush today.
Absolutely, and both guys have very good race cars. Matt Kenseth, who qualified on the outside of the front row, said his race car is not as good as his qualifying car, so they're going to have to work on that in practice, the final one tomorrow for the Sprint Cup Series. But how about Greg Biffle? He stood on the gas and qualified and put that number 16 car on the pole. Greg Biffle, 13th in points. I just looked at his stats this year. I cannot believe Greg Biffle only has one top 5 finish, but he has 2 wins here at Michigan, and it comes at the right time for Biffle, trying to get a chase spot. He hasn't won in a long time, but in 17 starts here, he has 10 top 10 finishes. So I think Greg Biffle and this team, they have a little momentum this weekend. They're on the pole. They love this racetrack. They've won here before, and honestly, I talked to Biff, and he said, you know what, we think we can get the win here, but we also think we can win at Bristol next week and even Atlanta. So don't count out Greg Biffle for a chase spot, because he's looking awfully good here this weekend, and I think he'll be good in a couple races still to come before we get to the chase.
So right now, Bob, the Biff on the outside looking in. With that, we take a look at the updated wild card standings with 4 races to go until we set the Chase field. And here you see him. Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin at the top. Paul Menard has a victory. You got Boyer right behind him, the aforementioned Greg Biffle. A number of other drivers hanging on to hope. So if you take Biffle out of the equation, Bob, who is the next driver in line this weekend at Michigan that can help himself earn a spot toward the Chase?
Well, I think you take a look at 2 drivers in particular, and both of those drivers already have wins. Denny Hamlin won here in June, and Denny has that new TRD engine, the only one in a Joe Gibbs racing car here at Michigan International. So a lot of eyes on Denny Hamlin this weekend, and he thinks he's got a pretty good race car. But I'll tell you what, the guy that has a very good race car here this weekend, especially in race mode, is Paul Menard. I believe Paul Menard could steal another victory, if you want to call it that, here on Sunday at Michigan. So that would give Paul Menard 2 victories, knock Denny Hamlin out of a Chase spot. So it's up for grabs. Anybody could win, but I'm liking Greg Biffle. I'm liking Paul Menard so far this weekend.
Some sleepless nights for those drivers, no doubt about it, over the course of the next 4 weeks. A number of other drivers feeling very good, including 4 who could clinch a spot in the Chase this weekend. If you look at the Chase standings, as of now, those top 4 drivers have a chance to put themselves in this weekend. I'm talking about Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, and Kevin Harvick. Of that group, Bob, who's impressed you today?
Well, I don't know. Jimmy Johnson thought he had a good qualifying lap, and it wasn't as good as he thought it was. He's never won here. You know, Kyle Busch has also struggled here at Michigan. I like Kyle Busch. Carl Edwards struggling a little bit this weekend. So if you look at all those guys, I really like Kyle Busch. That team is hitting on all 8 cylinders right now. They can win races. They can finish consistently. I think Kyle Busch definitely is a guy to watch here on Sunday. Maybe not for the victory, but certainly to clinch himself in. You take a look at that other guy, Kevin Harvick. You know, he's been awfully strong early on in the year, but they're still struggling, and they're struggling again this weekend at Michigan.
Thank you so much, Bob. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Speed Center. At Speed, we are the Motorsports Authority. This is a Speed Center NASCAR edition. We got all the world of motorsports covered tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.